I am going to show you how to draw down this wonderful raven picture onto a canvas freehand. Okay, right here I have an 11 by 14 canvas. First of all, we're going to put on an oil wash. I'm going to grab my palette, get some thinner. This is a number 8 filbert brush. I'm grabbing some odorless mineral spirits with my brush and put it on my palette. I have a little burnt sienna here. I'm going to put that in there. And we put on these washes in order to get rid of the white of the canvas. That way we can judge values a little bit more accurately as we build up our paints. And the number one color, I guess, or the most common color that we use as a wash is some sort of brown. Burnt sienna is real popular. Anything duller than that usually is really good. I've seen people use Indian red. They've used Terra Rosa, light red, any kind of brownish color. I've also used ultramarine blues for paintings that had a lot of blue in it, or greens for paintings that had a lot of green in it. Mostly thinner with a little bit of sienna in it, and that's looking pretty good. I'm going to take a paper towel, and now I'm going to gently try to pick up the thinner without picking up the paint. So I'm just going to dab it, trying to get rid of a lot of the thinner. And once all the thinner has dried up, then I can start drawing on it. So a lot of blotting. And it's going to look kind of rough, like parchment. Once I think I have enough up, then very lightly I can smooth out some of those textures. And I want it just smooth enough that it's not going to make it confusing when I draw. And so that's probably good enough. I'm going to hit it with a blow dryer just for about 30 seconds, and that will dry that out really nice. Okay, now I'm just going to freehand the drawing on there. Your drawing skills have to be a little bit better for this, unless you are very stylized and we want to create a more whimsical bird or something very, very different. I'm going to take that same wash color, probably get just a little bit more paint in it than a wash. I can run a little test over here to make sure I can see my lines, and I can. That looks pretty good. So now I need to figure out how much height space I have up there. I'm going to go ahead and draw a line. Then over here on the side, I'm going to draw a boundary line. Lower feathers, probably something like this. So I'm taking a guess on a lot of this. I probably want to do the shape of the bird before I even put in this wooden stump right here. And what I normally do is start off very loose and simple. And just get a general shape for the head, maybe a nice oval shape in there. Then get the neck in there. It's going to come out down to the tail area. The body will come up and then to the tail area down here. Then let's put a beak up there. That beak comes out pretty far, but it also goes into the head pretty far too. So I'm just going to do a straight line for now, and a straight line, and then come off the head something like this. Let's see what that looks like. before I put the eye or any more details in, I want to get the basic shape down first and then step back, look at it, make corrections, and then do the detail work. If I get too far along in the drawing and something is off with the foundational outline, then I have to wipe out everything and start it again. So it's best just to keep it very simple, double check it, and then when it looks good, go for all the details on the inside. So we have a wing that comes out here, like this. And then the stump seems to line up. If I go take my stick and go right up through the middle of the stump, it seems to line up right between the beak and the eye up there. The eye is going to be somewhere around there, so the stump is going to be right there. And the stump comes up about 1/4 of the way into the photograph. So the stump's going to come up pretty high up here. So I can take a guess on the thickness of the stump, just like that. And it goes in like this, and then there's some weird twig that comes out of the side, a branch, another branch that comes up in here, something like that, and then another branch that comes way up here and does a little squiggle. Okay, and that is a very simplified version of that piece of wood that it is on. And now I'm looking at the overall thickness. It looks like my bird needs to be a little bit wider here in the chest area. Let's give it a little bit more chest. And let's see what's going on here. See, I'm going to make the head a little bit bigger. I think this needs to come out more too. This comes out a little bit more, and then right about here, shoots in. We have some ruffled feathers right there, a little ruffled feather here. I have a very thick line here. I want to go with the outside line. I'm going to take some straight thinner on my brush, and I can pull up some of that like this. Take the corner of a paper towel and wipe back, and look at that. I have a nice sharp edge that is not going to get confused with any inner line or thickness issues. Okay. I need to bring this out a little further, I think. Okay, that's starting to look better. I want to get this close enough that when I start blocking the paint, I have some really good guides, and then as I get into my painting, I can make minor adjustments on the drawing. Because no matter how good I am, I'm always going to be off a little on something, and then as I paint, it will become very obvious what's wrong, and then I can make a little adjustment. Okay, I'm going to take a guess on where that eye is. I'm thinking it's about right there. Okay, now it's time for this wonderful shield area here on the chest. And it does something like that. It's kind of round. Then we have the main wing. Let's come down something like this and like this. At the bottom, we have some of the tail feathers separating. So we have the wind blowing around on this crazy night that the photo is taken, and the feathers are getting ruffled. And so those feathers are a little ruffled down there. Let me come back and clean up the beak area a little bit. Let's see, that divided beak I'm going to bring up a little higher. Then it'll bend down like that. Get the eye just a tad bit darker. And I'm going to keep the legs very simple. So I have one leg here, and then I have a claw. Keep those claws simple. Another claw here. I can't do the outline of the claw, so I'm just kind of massing it in with thicker lines here. We have a big claw that comes out back here. And around. Then we have another leg that comes out. And then some cool looking claws right in here. Another one that comes out further. And that might be good enough to get the painting going. Now my bird looks pretty happy right now, but when I get into the painting and put those beautiful grayish blues down and weird looking teal green colors, it's going to look really ominous. So my happy bird will become far more serious. So that is how you do a freehand drawing, eyeing it, and the better the drawer you are, the better it's going to look. And that's why we in the painting world say if you want to increase your painting skills, increase your drawing skills.